Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're going to learn how to fetch specific columns from the database using JPQL and EntityManager in Spring Boot. So far, we've been fetching full employee objects with all the fields, even when we only needed a couple. But what if we just want employee ID and employee name? Why fetch extra data when we don't need it, right? That's exactly what we'll explore today. Let's jump in. In the last video, we learned how to fetch all rows from the database, both with and without filters. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend checking that out first. It'll help you understand today's topic better. Now in this video, we're going to do something slightly different. Instead of fetching the entire row from the employee table, we'll learn how to fetch specific columns only. Just the employee ID and employee name. Why? Because sometimes we don't need the full data, and fetching only what we need is faster and more efficient. Alright, just like you see on my screen. Let's copy the findAll method and paste it just below. Let's just rename this method to findAll1 for now. I know, not the best name, but I'm not getting anything better at the moment. We're going to make minimum changes here, to fetch specific columns instead of all the data. Now look closely. Right now, we have EMP highlighted. This EMP is just an alias for our employee entity. And as you can see, we're using it between the select and from clause, which means we're currently selecting the entire employee object, every single column. But now, we want only a few specific fields, like employee ID and employee name. So what do we change? Simple. Instead of just writing EMP, we'll use the alias name, add a dot, and then the entity field name. See my screen. First we'll type EMP. Then dot. Then employee ID. Now we want to fetch the next column, employee name. First, add a comma, just like this. This will separate the two fields we're fetching. Now, type emp.employeename. Okay, now that we've written the query to fetch specific columns. So, here's a small issue we need to address. If we run the query right now, it'll throw an exception. Why? Because the query is trying to convert the result directly into the employee class. Here's the catch. We don't have a constructor in the employee class that matches the specific fields we're fetching, like employee ID and employee name. Take a look at my employee class. Right now, it has only two constructors. A no-argument constructor and an all-arguments constructor. Now, since we're fetching just two fields, employee ID and employee name, but not all the fields from the class, it won't match the constructor. This is why we need to handle the result a little differently. Alright, before we go ahead and add any constructors, let's run this as it is and see what happens first. Sometimes, it's good to check what errors or exceptions we might encounter before taking further steps. Let's create a new API endpoint. Copy the existing findAll API method and paste it below. Change the URL to find/all1. Rename it to findAll1. Call our newly created method findAll1 from the repository. Alright, check this out. As you can see on my screen, we're using the employee DTO mapper to convert the employee entity to the employee DTO. Now, here's the thing. We're not fetching all the fields from the employee entity. For instance, the joining date and department fields aren't being fetched in our current query. If we continue using the employee DTO mapper as it is, it will try to map those null fields, joining date and department, and this will throw a null pointer exception since we haven't handled these fields while fetching. Alright, instead of relying on the mapper, let's handle the conversion directly in the API method itself. See my screen here. We can manually map the fields we need from the employee entity to the employee DTO. Since we're only fetching employee ID and employee name, we'll only set those two fields in the DTO. Start the application. Switch to Postman and hit our new API endpoint. So, here's what's happening. When we hit the API, we get an error, right? Alright folks, take a look here. We're getting an error, no such method exception. What's happening? Well, it's trying to find a constructor in the employee class that takes long and string as parameters. But guess what? We don't have a constructor like that in the employee class. Now here's something interesting. If you look closely, you'll notice that it's not just looking for any constructor. It's specifically trying to find one with wrapper types, that is long and string, not the primitive long and string. Alright. Let's go ahead and create the constructor in our employee entity. For now, I'm going to keep the employee ID as a primitive long, not wrapper long. Let's test it and see what happens. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but that's how we learn, right? Cool, now let's restart the application and see if our changes work. Alright, let's hit the API now. Again we got the error. Just look at the console logs. It's still throwing the same exception. That's because it's trying to find a constructor with wrapper long class and string types. But in our class, we've used primitive long and string. That mismatch is the issue. Now we want our code to work with same constructor that takes just a primitive long and a string, right? So how do we make that happen? Well, we actually don't have to change our constructor at all. We just need a small tweak in the JPQL query. Okay, picture this. When you write new myClass in Java, you're creating a fresh object, right? Well, JPQL lets you do the same magic right in your query. As you can see on my screen, we've selected only the employee ID and employee name fields. Now, to make this work, I'm simply going to pass these two values straight into the employee constructor we defined earlier. Watch this, I type. See now, it's really that simple, just new employee with the parameters we selected. We're passing emp.employeeID and emp.employeename straight into the constructor, and our query matches the constructor perfectly. Okay, let's restart the application. Alright, let's hit the API again. We got a successful response, and just like that, our list of employees comes back with only employee ID and employee name. Exactly what we wanted, perfect. Okay, now suppose you don't want to use that new employee constructor trick in our JPQL anymore. Here's how we make the plain query version work properly. Copy your findAll1 method and paste it right below. Rename the new one to findAll2. Remove constructor related thing just we added. Okay, next up, let's tweak our employee entities constructor. Remember, we originally had employee ID as a primitive long in that constructor. We need to switch it over to the wrapper long type to match how JPQL returns it. Okay, that's done. But before we update the controller, let's make sure our original findAll1 method is still working. Restart the application. Hit the API again. Boom. Just like that, we've got the complete list of employees back from findAll1, looking perfect. Everything's working just as before. Now, let's switch over to our new findAll2 method and see how it behaves. Alright, let's restart the application one more time. Let's hit the API again, this time with our findAll2 method. See that? Boom. We got a successful response, exactly what we expected. Just the employee ID and employee name, clean and simple. That's how you fetch specific columns using JPQL without relying on the constructor call in the query. Easy, right? Alright everyone, in today's video, we learned how to fetch specific fields using JPQL, first with a constructor approach, and then without it as well. Got an exception? We figured that out. Struggling with wrapper versus primitive confusion? Solved that too. And finally hit the API, and boom! We got a successful response with the exact data we needed. Now, in the next video, we're going to jump back to our employee repository and implement a method called fetchEmployee. And don't forget, if you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below with any questions. Also, turn on notifications so you never miss an update.